Alright, what's the story? Welcome back to Car Chats. I'm sitting in the queue at the car wash, so I figured this would be a good time to have a quick yap. So, been a little while since I recorded one of these. Last one was just before All Ireland's, and we'll recap that, I guess, really quick. Paul Walsh lifted that morning, as did Kate Dunn. I think they were my only two lifters, maybe one more, but I'm almost certain it was just those. Those two were the ones who had competed most recently that were coming into this one a bit like, where can we push it? And they both ended up having superb days. It's one of the first times I've ever been at a meet where I didn't handle the lifters directly because I was lifting that afternoon. Paul and Kate are quite seasoned now at this stage and were happy enough for me to send in the team. So obviously massive thanks to Nathan Roberts, Raquel Ria, Shauna Rahman, Aaron Dignam. There's a good few other hands on deck that were just keeping things running, the ball rolling for us, who stuck around all day. Because later on that day, there was James McLaughlin, myself, Aaron O'Dea, and Dylan Farley lifting in the All Ireland's national flights. And that was quite the storied flight. So Dylan, to start off, probably the least to report on, had a really consistent day. He had just competed at Junior Nationals at the end of April. This was the start of June. Managed to put another 10 kilos on his total. Finished on 710 kilos, which is monumental, particularly given his age and, you know, guys in college and has a full-time job. So 710 is nothing to sneeze at. And PBs across the board. Had a great day. Extremely proud of him. Then Aaron O'Dea is just a prodigy in powerlifting. Excellent lifter. Finished on 735. The only thing I can say is he was giving it the big one on the way in, saying he was going to lift me, and he finished a few kilos. I think I finished on 752. He finished on 735. So still a little bit of work to go. But he is at the moment only 3 weeks out from bench Euro, so I can't really say very much. He's still showing up and getting the job done. Then James McLaughlin had all the best potential coming into this meet to qualify for Open Nationals, and things just fell apart from him. Got his first squat and missed the second two on depth, or it might have been the other way around, missed the first two and got the last one in. And then similar on bench, got one in, missed two, and then pulled his opener deadlift, tried to load something like a PB and missed it twice. So went 3 for 9, still his second best ever total, so that's still something. But yeah, absolutely a million miles away from the day we were expecting from him. So we look back on what were the controllables there that didn't pan out. James had an excellent prep, particularly the block just before peak. He was really doing well. So I think maybe he was just a bit beat up by the time he got to the meet, which can happen, particularly when you're trying to cut a couple of kilos. I think he had to cut down from about 95, 96, but it's not too bad. Depends on what his manipulation protocol is, depends on how he refuels, depends on the sleep, depends so many factors. The only thing I can say I noticed is he had a great prep in terms of squats, but then I noticed on the last week, he cut depth on like his last squat session. I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's grand, don't worry about it. And of course it was something to worry about. Then his elbow depth on bench has always been a thing, and those were the things he was getting called on. So we've done a lot of work on that now since. The deadlift was obviously just not there. Like his best ever is 275. He tried to go from 260 to 285. It's probably just too big of a jump, just outside the scope of what he had on the day. He obviously didn't show up with his A game, so he has since signed up to August, which we're about a month out from now. So hopefully he can make a better push there. But yeah, it was an interesting flight anyway. Probably one of the only times I'll ever get to lift with those boys, and we all trained together, so I definitely enjoyed it. As for what lies now in the future, so right now we're just mid-July in the middle of this heat wave. Everyone's boiling hot. Still training away. My next potential meet for me is Nationals. Now, I'm not on the top 7 for the 105s, 193, so the likelihood of getting invited, I'd say, is still pretty good, but I don't think it's guaranteed. And honestly, I am 100% at peace with the idea that I might not lift it this year. That's fine. Even if I were to get the invite, I don't really know what way I'd be performing. I'd give it my best effort. It's probably going to be whether I go or not. Nationals would be my last meet for at least a year. I'm committed. I know I've said this on these videos before, but I'm committed to taking a year off now. For those who don't know, my missus and I are expecting our second baby at the end of the year. So we'll have two. We have our toddler, and we'll have a new little baby. So I'm fully committed on the idea that I managed to get back to a decent level of training. I'm just gonna move you guys here a little bit. I managed to get back to a decent level of training pretty quick after baby number 1. Just because of the circumstances we're in, things were pretty good. But this time around, I think it'll be too much to ask to expect her to be looking after a toddler and a Shut up, car. And a newborn. So that will be something. Oh, these are just going to have to chill now on the angle for a minute. I'm going to crease myself getting at this now in a minute to pay for this thing. This car is manky. I live basically right next to a construction site, so car gets pretty dirty. So that's it. Like I'm committed to the idea that like my training's going to change. I'm going to commit to not competing till. So like if I compete at nationals in November, my next possible soonest meet would be Nationals 2027 if I were to be invited. If not that, I'd probably aim, assuming there'll be a December Open next year. We don't have a calendar yet. I'd aim to do that December Open. But beyond that, I actually think I'm looking forward to the idea of not competing for a year. Sometimes I feel like I haven't competed that much, but I've always competed at least twice a year since I started powerlifting. And in the last little while, like let me think, I done from Westerns, I did Westerns 2023, then Christmas Qualifier 2023, and then 2024 I didn't compete until Westerns 2024. Then I did Nationals 2024. Then I did I did bench Nationals 2024. Then I did Ab Series 20 in Scotland in February 2025. Then I took a break till Nationals last year, 2025 Nationals, and then I did bench Nationals again in March. Then I did Silent Worker. Then I done All Ireland. So if I do Nationals, that's a good run, I think, of meets, and I think it's probably for the best that I take a bit of time to build. My training will also probably greatly change in that period of time, at least temporarily, and I'm almost looking forward to it. Prior to powerlifting, I did a lot of like just straight up strength and conditioning, which would be like you'd have like your main big strength move of the day, so you'd go in and do a big squat session, let's say, and then maybe like 2 accessories of whatever the accessory movements were. So it could be like, let's say, like a tertiary bench, like dumbbell floor press and chin-ups, and then you do like a big conditioning session. It might last 10-20 minutes. So I'm probably going to get back to that, since workouts are going to have to be much more time efficient. Everyone in powerlifting knows our sessions take forever. They don't have to, but like just when you're training with other people, they can, or if you need a longer break before you like get into a top set, that can be a factor. But I'm looking forward to the change, and I'm actually at the moment putting plans in place to have like a home gym. Like I want to like put like a big shed out my back and then throw an EO rack in it and just blast away on that. I'll probably get a couple of dumbbells. I used to have all this kit, and then when we moved, I had stored it all in Abs, and then when we moved from HQ to Westside, it all just magically vanished. So I'll have to reacquire a shitload of kit, but not to worry, I'll get the job done. But in any case, that's what the future holds, and I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm a lot more, like I felt pretty prepared last time we had a kid. Anyone that knows me or has listened to any of the podcast appearances I've done with Primal about children will know that like I'm very, very pro children. I think people make it out to be a way harder thing than it is. It is a thing, it is a consideration. There are difficult facets to it, but I think the hardest thing is that people want to be able to do all the things they did prior to having kids and also have children. Now, that's not to say I'm not in a very good position. My missus is not in a very good position. We are very lucky. Like, we do have a very good setup, but that's true hard work. So luck is probably the wrong word, but that's probably the most politically correct word you'll tolerate, because I know it pisses people off when I say I don't think having kids is that hard, but I do think going from 1 to 2 will be a significant change, and it's one I'm very much looking forward to. I've since tried to like give my athletes as much notice, awareness, and keep them in the loop with this as much as possible. One thing I think I did fail on last time was I didn't realize how much of a time demand it could be and how much I would have to like basically there was days where it's like if I had check-ins to do and the baby was upset, like I'd obviously prioritize the baby, then the check-ins, and then last would come sleep. So I was having some nights I was staying up to like 11:30, 12 o'clock late into the night just to try and get my check-ins out, and sometimes I'd physically fall asleep at the desk. And like, again, I'm genuinely trying my best, and some lifters it just wasn't good enough. It was sad. Like, some people I'd put a lot of time into, I really cared about, and for lack of a better word, like, I mean, I had invested in, like, personally. Like, I mean, I saw these people as friends to a degree, obviously, you know what I mean? Or at least like people that I saw as like very integral parts of the crew just kind of turned their back on me. And like, I suppose, like, don't get me wrong, like, coaching is a job, you know what I mean? And people can do whatever they want. But it's really bizarre when people you've like had like really memorable moments with or sentimental moments start treating you like a stranger all of a sudden. Like any coach I've ever, like, I worked with Beck for a while there before for in 2024, and then we stopped for a while, and then now I work with Ben Corsby, and Beck is still one of my best friends. You know what I mean? Like if I was to be, for example, in the market for a new coach, Beck would probably be one of the first people I'd go back to. Similarly, like I used to work with Shane Story for nutrition. If I was in the market to want to hire someone strictly for nutrition and getting like the best shape of my life, Shane Story would be somebody I'd have no problem referring to or recommending. Somebody I see at meets occasionally, I always say hello. I just don't get it. But hey, I'm kind of just on a tangent here because I haven't done one of these in a little while. But yeah, so things are going really well. Still working away, doing my desk shift in ARC. I do have availability for some one-on-ones. I'm trying to keep it very limited though, because I just don't have the time. I can't commit to it. I'm gone past the days of showing up to the gym at like 5 a.m. to do like PT 5, 6, 7, 8, take a break and come back and do like 2, 3, 4, 5 and whatever it would be. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't mind taking a small handful of people who are serious, but other than that, I'm going to keep it primarily focused on the powerlifting. And very lucky for me, we've managed to foster an extremely good crew in ARC Gym. Between like we have obviously the nomads, the blow-ins, the people that like aren't coaching with me or with James. So James and I have the big core group of people. And honestly, I am very lucky that whenever I go into the gym now, I'm surrounded by people I get along with, people who know how to spot and load for each other. They get along with each other. There's no like, everyone's just chilling and getting some good training done. But yeah, things are going fucking good and I'm happy about it. I'll probably try and get more of these done again. A lot of it's just time and trying to, like, I have so many things I'd like to discuss, but it's finding the if and the when and the why. I'm going to go through this car wash now. But if you guys enjoy these, and I know like it's a very small number of people because I don't really push them out there too much, but if you do like it, you listen to it, let me know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, particularly if there's anything you want to hear any thoughts on. There's a whole host of things I want to talk about, but if you enjoy these, if they help kill 10-15 minutes for you, I'm more than happy to continue to do them in whatever capacity I can. All right, have a good one. Talk to you soon.